Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Crowd Chatter podcast. Today is bowl season. College football has reached the postseason. We have now reached the bowl era. This year, there are 44 bowl games. So, obviously, it's only me today. There is no Serbinsky. There is no Calvin, or, of course, Sam, as all of you know. He has decided to step away from the podcast. As to if or when he returns, I do not know. But as of right now, today is only me. Everybody else is really busy. So I'll be bringing you my picks for all these bowl games. So as I said, there's 44 bowl games this year. I am not doing all 44 all at once. There's no way I am doing that because I will be sitting here for probably close to about 2 hours trying to pick every single game. So I'm going to do the first 18, then I'm going to do the next 20 non New Year's Six bowls, and then I'll do a whole nother episode on just the New Year's Six. So there's going to be a lot of different guys who are not playing in different bowl games. So I'm just going to start the first 18, going to go to the next 20 of non New Year's Six, and then I'll have a whole different episode for the New Year's Six and my prediction for the national champion. But we'll get into the first 18 bowl games here, starting with Mid Tennessee State and Toledo in the Bahamas Bowl. Should be an interesting one. I don't really know much about either of these teams. I do know that Toledo nearly beat Notre Dame in South Bend, and Mid Tennessee State did not have that great of a game against Virginia Tech. So, based on that, I mean, it's not really based on much of anything, but I'm going to take Toledo to win this one. They take home the Bahamas Bowl. We have officially the first pick of bowl season. So now we move on to the next one, the Tail Greeter Cure Bowl. I think it's simply just the Cure Bowl. The Cure Bowl. I copy these simply off of ESPN, so it has all like the sponsors for it too. So I'm not saying the entire thing for what it says. But Tail Greeter Cure Bowl, Northern Illinois, the MAC champions this year at 9-4, playing 10-2 Coastal Carolina. Now, the Chanticleers have had some okay, solid teams this year, though. Once again, playing in the Sun Belt, did not play much of a non-conference, and lost 2 games in conference to the team right below them in the next bowl game, Appalachian State, and also lost to Georgia State. Northern Illinois got a win over Georgia Tech in the non-conference, got smoked by Michigan. As I said, won the MAC conference. This is a hard one to choose necessarily, but I'm going to go with the team that has a bit more battle experience in Coastal Carolina. I want to pick the Chanticleers, but Northern Illinois, I think, has seen more competition, and based on them playing better teams, I'm going to go with the team that has been more battle tested than Coastal Carolina, who's lost 2 games against. I mean, Appalachian State's a decent team, but Georgia State, not really. So I'm going to take Northern Illinois to win the Cure Bowl. I have no idea where that's at, but the Tail Greeter Cure Bowl, wherever that's played. The roofclaim.com Boca Raton Bowl. I think this is in Florida. Boca Raton, I think, is. But we have the 2 runner-ups of their respective conferences: Western Kentucky and Appalachian State. Both made their conference championship games. Both lost. Appalachian State 10-3. 2 of their losses come to Louisiana. Louisiana, of course, or UL Lafayette, the same school. End up beating Appalachian State for the Sun Belt, and Western Kentucky ended up losing to UTSA for CUSA. So now teams go up against each other, and this is a really interesting matchup because Western Kentucky has one of the weirdest offenses I've probably ever seen. They're the number 2 offense in the country, but they have like the 4th or 5th worst rushing offense in the country. So it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense that somehow you're so really well. I guess it doesn't really not that it doesn't make a lot of sense. Apparently, your passing attack is so good that it's that you have the second best offense in the country with the fourth worst rushing offense in the country. I kind of just find that quite astounding. But Western Kentucky is an offensive team. This should be a really fun game. I think it's pretty much like a toss up. Um, However, I'm gonna go with the offense. This is hard because Western Kentucky does have a good offense, but I mean, when they have played some better team, I mean, they played Michigan State. They put up 31 on them. They've lost twice, like I said, to UTSA. So this is a hard game. Some of these I have not picked. I haven't really picked. I haven't really looked at a lot of them. I'll go Appalachian State. That's my gut choice here. App State made it close against Miami, Florida. They lost twice to Louisiana. They took out Coastal Carolina. This should be a good one. I think it's a complete toss-up. I'll give the edge to Appalachian State. UTEP and Fresno State. It's really fun to see UTEP actually in a bowl game, and also UTSA, who we'll see later. I can't remember the last time either of these teams have been in a big bowl game before. I mean, well, not necessarily a big bowl game, but when was the last time either team has been in a bowl game before? But either way, UTEP at 7-5 had a bit of a not special end to their season. They were 6-2 when they played UTSA. Now they're 7-5. So you can see what kind of happened down the stretch for them. But UTEP overall, I mean, a season to remember, especially after being like, what? I mean, 2 seasons ago, I think they were winless. I mean, this team has come from a long way. This is the PUBG Mobile New Mexico Bowl. The previous one, I think I already said that one. Yeah, I did say that one. All right. The PUBG Mobile New Mexico Bowl, this one, UTEP and Fresno State. I want to say that UTEP can win this bowl game and they can really feel good about the end of their season and just be happy that they had such a phenomenal season. But we're talking about a Fresno State team here. I don't care if their head coach has left, but has now left for Washington. This is a good Fresno State team, significantly better than UTEP. They should have no problems. Absolutely dominating the Miners for the New Mexico Bowl. UAB and number 13 BYU. I really don't understand why these two got pitted against each other in the Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl, but I don't think there's a lot of questions of who is winning this game. I have BYU by a pretty sizable margin. UAB is not that bad of a team, but BYU is significantly better. I've seen this team play. They're lethal offensively, and UAB is completely overmatched in that one. The Lending Tree Bowl of Eastern Michigan and Liberty. This would be a more interesting game if there wasn't an NFL quarterback sitting on Liberty's side. So this is another easy pick. I have Liberty taking down Eastern Michigan. And it's pretty sad to say, but pretty much all the Michigan teams are not looking good in any of their bowl games. The Wolverines might have the best chance, or Western Michigan, probably one of those two, but the rest of them are really in trouble. But I have Liberty over Eastern Michigan, especially with Malik Willis in at quarterback for the Liberty Flames. Then you have the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl presented by Stifel. I don't know. One of those. But the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl, you have Utah State and Oregon State. Now this is an interesting one. Oregon State has a decent team, and almost every time I have watched a Mountain West champion, because this used to be the game that always take place in the Las Vegas Bowl, but now the LA Bowl got their own thing at SoFi Stadium. Which, by the way, speaking of SoFi Stadium, Chiefs and Chargers playing right now for Thursday Night Football. It is 14-13 Chargers with 6.5 minutes left to go in the third quarter. So, big news there. Anyway, This will be in SoFi Stadium between Oregon State, Utah State. This normally would be in the Las Vegas Bowl. Should be a interesting game. I think Utah State has a solid overall team, but almost every time, I'm telling you, almost every time I have watched the Mountain West champion play one of the more of the lower Pac-12 teams, they lose like every time. And I think I'm not a big believer in this Utah State team. I've seen Oregon State play; they have a solid team. I'm gonna take the Pac-12 team to knock off the Mountain West champion. And yeah, I'm gonna take Oregon State in that one. The R plus L Carriers New Orleans Bowl. I don't know what R plus L Carriers is, but that's what the bowl game's called. Number 23, Louisiana at 12-1, up against the Marshall Thundering Herd at 7-5. Louisiana's only loss comes at the very beginning of the season to the Texas Longhorns. They have won 12 straight. Marshall is not changing that. This will be a future, I believe, Sunbelt matchup, actually, as I'm pretty sure that Marshall is actually moving over to the Sunbelt. So that'll be a conference matchup in the future. This year, it's a bowl game, and it's a bit of a mismatch. I know Louisiana has a brand new head coach, but this is still the same team. This is still a team. This is still the same Louisiana team. This is still a good team, and it'll be hard to knock these guys off. Now, here's an interesting bowl game. The Myrtle Beach Bowl presented by Tax Act of Old Dominion taking on Tulsa. This should be a really good one because both of these teams really had a horrid start to their seasons. They both mightily struggled. Neither team ever found their footing, and I think Tulsa has won 3 straight games or 3 of their last 4 maybe to get to bowl eligibility, and Old Dominion won 4 straight games to get to bowl eligibility or something like that. Or maybe Tulsa won 2 of their last 3. I don't remember how Tulsa got there. I know Old Dominion won their last 4 games to get to 6-6, and now they make it to this bowl game. I have not watched Old Dominion play. I have watched Tulsa play. I don't know. I'm going to just go with the team I've watched more and seen play at least decent. I'll take Tulsa to win this one. The famous Idaho Potato Bowl, which infamously takes place at Boise State's field, the Blue Field. We have Kent State taking on Wyoming. Not a big believer in Wyoming. I guess I'll just go with Kent State for this one. Runner-up in the MAC. Wyoming's team, not good. Kent State is, I guess, decent. I don't really know about that one. I'm just picking a team. A lot of these, I don't know anything about either team, so that's kind of one where I just say, yeah, just throw a dart at the dartboard and hope for best, right? Now, here's one I want to see. This is going to be a good one. The Tropical Smoothie Cafe Frisco Bowl of UTSA and number 24, San Diego State. San Diego State lost in their conference championship game well, I guess it's not technically their home stadium. I think it belongs to the LA Galaxy or something like that, a soccer team, I believe. But San Diego State losing on their technically home field to Utah State, getting absolutely demolished in their home, I suppose. Wasn't even close to the Mountain West Championship game, and UTSA would escape and take home the CUSA and have probably one of the best seasons they've ever had. I don't think UTSA has ever been this good, but here they are, 12-1, playing Brady Hoke in his second stint as the San Diego State head coach, and he has his Aztecs at 11-2. Should be a really fun game. UTSA has got a really good team going into this. San Diego State has been solid all year long. Beat the Pac-12 champion in Utah. I'm really curious to see this one. I think UTSA has a good chance. They've really played well, but San Diego State I think just has the better team. I mean, I am 100% rooting for UTSA to win this game. I would love to see the road winners. Yeah, road winners too. No, but the road runners, I would love to see them prove me wrong. But I think San Diego State should have what it takes to win this one. And now we head to the Lockhead Martin Armed Forces Bowl between Missouri and Army. And I have watched Army. It's really tricky. It's always tricky taking any of the armed forces because you don't really know what you're going to get with those types of teams. And for like a Missouri and oh my, I'm sorry. um, Watching a little bit of the game at the same time. That was a hideous row. Wow. Missouri and Army though is always tricky trying to take the armed forces because you don't really know what you're gonna get because they run all the time, and Army, our Air Force, Navy is not in a bowl game this year. The team is pathetic. Still beat Army though. But I don't know really what to do with this one. Army obviously has a great off. I mean, we saw him put 56 up on Wake Forest. Not that that means anything, but 56 is still a lot of points, even against a bad defense, and especially for an armed force like Army. So this should be a good one. Uh, I'm gonna take Army. I'm gonna go with the armed force in this one. Missouri should put up a pretty good fight, but I think the Army Black Knights will get it done in this one. They take home the Armed Forces Bowl. They actually had, and now this is the Frisco Football Classic. I believe this is the bowl game that they actually added because there were so many bowl eligible teams. They actually had to add one bowl game to try and compensate for all the extra teams that were bowl eligible this season. And I believe this is the one they added because it doesn't have it doesn't say bowl at the end. But Frisco Football Classic, North Texas, Miami, Ohio. Know absolutely nothing about either team. So this is really a complete toss-up. North Texas was able to beat UTSA at the end of the year. Miami, Ohio, lost to Cincinnati. Other than that, I have no idea. I guess I'll take North Texas. I have no idea. I don't know anything about these teams. I'll go with the team that was able to ruin the Roadrunners' perfect year. Sure. Now we go to the Union Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl between another really good bowl game here, UCF and Florida. Florida has a brand new head coach this year. UCF does not have Dylan Gabriel, but they do have will not have Dylan Gabriel as he is transferring away from UCF and actually to UCLA, which is that's a whole other conversation we'll have on the ridiculously loaded transfer portal. Obviously, Quinn Ewers and Spencer Rattler being two huge names of the 50 million quarterbacks in the portal. It really just seems like it doesn't end. You got Quinn Ewers transferring to Texas, Spencer Rattler transferring to South Carolina with his fellow tight end Austin Stogner. And it just keeps going on. There's a million different quarterbacks in the portal, including Florida starting quarterback Emory Jones. He has entered the transfer portal, so Florida will be without him. The Gators had a strugglesome season. They also don't have their number one wide receiver. He is transferring out as well, so he will not be playing in this game. Florida's a mess. Dan Mullen, obviously being fired by the Gators. Billy Napier is not going to be there for that bowl game just yet. So I'm taking UCF. I'm going to take Gus Malzahn to get the better of his former SEC foe in the Florida Gators. And I have the UCF Golden Knights, I believe is what it is. I don't think they're. I think they're the Golden Knights still. I have UCF taking that one and knocking off the Gator Chomp. Easy Post Hawaii Bowl, and we have Memphis and Hawaii. Obviously, Hawaii is essentially a home game for it. Well, it is a home game. It is their own field. But Memphis and Hawaii, Memphis is the much better team in this scenario. It is always hard traveling to Hawaii, but I think Memphis just has a better team. I'm not confident in Hawaii winning this one. The Tax Act Camellia Bowl, I believe is how you say that. Georgia State and Ball State. Georgia State was pretty close with Auburn, as I said earlier, to beat Coastal Carolina. This is an alright Georgia State team, and I'll go with them to knock off Ball State. Ball State hasn't done anything this year. Georgia State has a couple better wins. I'm probably wrong with that, but you know what? It's another toss-up. You don't really know what you're gonna get. I don't really watch. You don't really watch these kinds of teams, so it's really just anyone's guess. This one will be taking place right here, the Quick Lane Bowl, obviously at Ford Field, between the hometown Western Michigan Broncos and Nevada. So this should be an interesting one. Don't really know much about Nevada. I have not really watched any of their games. I know they barely beat Cal at the beginning of the year, which not great. Oh, I think they played. No, they didn't play Kansas State. So should be an interesting game. Western Michigan has a solid team. I think this is kind of a toss-up. I'll go with the home team. I'll take Western Michigan to knock off Nevada. They have really essentially the home field advantage. I mean, Detroit is about probably 2-3 hours away from Kalamazoo, but I still think you'll see a bit more Western Michigan fans at the Quick Lane Bowl than Nevada fans. Just saying. But I'll take Western Michigan to get the win. Take home a nice little bowl game. I'm telling you, I'm going to be completely wrong with that one. And now we have the Military Bowl presented by Peraton with Boston College and ECU. I don't really watch ECU. Boston College, I've kind of watched a little bit of them. They sucked in the ACC. I still will pick them anyway. They're the Power 5 team. I'll go with the team that has played against the better competition and won a couple games. They did beat Missouri, so there is that, who is a bowl eligible team. So I'll go with Boston College to win this one. And that will do it for this group of games. So we'll do the next 20 in the next episode. Thank you for watching, everyone. And I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one.